Before we begin, I want you to take a moment to think about the concept of resolution as it relates to sight. The ability for someone with poor eyesight to don the correct prescription of glasses and suddenly have everything come into focus at a higher resolution. The ability to see the details allows for a better understanding of the entire picture. Now, our lab studies plant genetics, specializing in Arabidopsis, a friendly little weed that serves as the model species for plants, kind of like lab mice in animal labs. Specifically, we're looking at how vitamin B6, which you may have seen in energy drinks and supplements, is stored, transported, and released inside the cell. Now, this is interesting for several reasons. First, B6 is essential to all living things on Earth. Without B6, there's nothing we know of that can stay alive. Second, although it's needed inside the cell for a lot of functions, when it's loose and nothing is containing it, it's incredibly toxic to the cell. Third, there's evidence that B6 is stored and released similarly across all types of organisms, from fungus and plants to animals and even humans, so our studies have much broader implications for all living things. And finally, no one currently has any idea what the parts that hold, move, and release B6 are, and no one knows how they might work together. An analogy for B6 is that it works like money inside the cell. To have a thriving economy, the money has to be stored in banks and released to the right people at the right time. And with B6, it has to be stored in a bank, because it's poisonous if it's just left out in the street. The genes and proteins we're studying are like the bank and the teller. One is the bank, storing money inside the cell, and another is the teller, taking deposits from people who have too much money and releasing money when an authorized person needs it. Our lab has discovered several genes that produce proteins that appear to be the parts that hold the money, or the bank, and that move and release the money inside the cell, or the tellers. We are currently studying the protein-protein interactions between all these parts in order to build a conceptual model of how they interact and work together to create a thriving B6 economy inside the cell. Now, this is important because understanding how these parts work will eventually allow us to control the flow of money, which can be used in lots of ways. For example, disrupting the B6 economy in cells we don't want, like cancer cells, and killing them. Now, back to the concept of resolution for a moment. Fundamental molecular mechanisms don't seem as immediately sexy as working to cure cancer or disease, but every single advancement made in these fields increases the resolution at which everyone is able to view the bigger picture. It has long been said that the devil is in the details. What seems simple when viewed largely gets more complicated when the details are examined. My research on the molecular mechanisms of vitamin B6 allow these details to be understood better than ever before. Thank you.